Before we get into this episode, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. You can hit the notification button so you can get updated weekly on all of our latest content. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, tell us what you want to see next below.
So we have cards and cards and cards and, notes and notes and notes because you've done a lot. And I think the theme of what we want to drill into with you is it seems like you're a high performer in every area. And I'd like to know, just to start, what success means to you, not just success in a business setting, but success in life.
Oh, gosh. For me, success in life, I'll give you a few scenarios. For me, it's sitting at a table with my 3 kids and my wife, where we have a great conversation and we have a lot of laughs and there are no arguments. If there are arguments, they're just kind of easily navigated. And then, maybe watch something on TV and go to bed. That to me is success at this stage of my life.
So it's simple.
Super simple.
It's not super complex. I think that's what's cool about you is you would think you'd have this huge answer and it's very simple.
I think that's, if I were to choose one thing I could be successful at, that would be what I described. My familial relationships would probably be the most important thing for me.
Have you always known that you wanted to be a family man?
No.
Did your wife
That's a quick no.
No.
Puppeteer it?
I know we eloped. It's pretty famously eloped, and we told no one for a month. But if you would have asked me a week before I got married, I would, and said, when do you think you're going to get married? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe never, or 10 years or 15 years from now. And I was 25 years old. So the idea hit me that it was time to do this with this person. It's kind of a funny story. We broke up the week before I broke up with her, because I was dumb, and it was the most agonizing week of my life. And I just knew that I never wanted to feel like that. I've never felt like that in my life.
What did she do to you during that week? I can't wait to hear.
She didn't return any of my calls.
Yeah.
And then we were meant to do a bit of PR together. We were both on a soap. And ironically, we were both going to be presenting a winner. It was Queen for the Day. It was this segment they did on Live with Regis and Kathy Lee.
Okay.
And her dream was to have her favorite soap stars roll out this sofa. She wanted a lazy boy sofa. And so we were meant to roll that out and surprise her. And we both tried to get out of it. I called the PR person. I'm like, I can't, I'm not. And she tried to get out of it as well.
Because of seeing each other?
Of seeing each other. And so we get there that day, and you asked me, what did she do? She looked amazing. I can still see this little Chanel beautiful jacket, whatever that's called, with a kerchief. I'm like, she's French all of a sudden. And she looked she's always looks amazing, but I was like, oh man, she looks so good. Boy, did I screw up. And so we do the segment. We barely speak to each other. I'm trying to speak to her. And we both smoked cigarettes back then. And so she went out for a smoke break. I said, do you mind if I come out with you? She's like, if you want. And so that happened. And then after the segment was done, she lived on the West Side. I followed her and begged her just to take a walk with me through Central Park. And she really didn't want to, but I was convincing, and so she did. And then we ended up back at my place. I live downtown, and I asked her to marry me.
Like after the walk that same day? Wow.
Yeah, and she said, ask me when you're serious. And I said, I am dead serious. I said, we have a day off work tomorrow. Let's fly to Vegas and get married.
The hot tip for girls, what I'm hearing is that if they break up with you, you need to go cold turkey, completely ignore them. Don't pick up their calls. Don't text back. Do literally nothing. And then when you see them, make sure you look so smoking hot and ignore them.
That's correct.
It's like being aloof. It's that easy.
Yep.
We have a kind of a similar story as that. I used to do things like that to him. So I totally get her strategy and it works.
Yeah, but our gap was maybe 15 years. That was the gap for us.
Yeah, I made him wait 15 years.
I had to wait around for 15 years.
Oh, you
I got a
played
lot of denials for the walks in the park.
but you played the long game.
Yeah.
I did play the
You did
long
play
game.
the long game.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how much work goes into the soap area.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's not talked about. From what I've heard off air, it is a lot of work.
It is.
What was that like when you first started, and how much work did that entail? Like, pull the veil off for the audience.
That was my first job. It came up to New York on that audition, and I got it. And so I had a bag that had clothes for 3 days, and I just stayed and had all my stuff shipped up. So I really had no context for what other work was like compared to other shows, or, you know, doing a play, and that's a lot of work as well, or other 1 hours or sitcoms. So this is my first entree into the business. You do a 1 hour show a day, where typically if you watch a 1 hour show on prime time, that takes 8 days, 10 days to shoot. We shoot that in 1 day.
Ooh,
So
lot of
that's at
memorizing.
least 60 pages of dialogue. You're in, if you're, depending on how heavy your story is, you're probably in a third of that dialogue. So 20 pages. And sometimes they would pack other parts of other shows in that. So I think on the biggest day, I had maybe 30 plus pages of dialogue in 1 day, maybe more. And then you do it again the next day.
I imagine in a strange way that's probably great prep work though for other things as you go, because you're just kind of thrown in the fire right away.
You may not be the best actor, but you definitely learn how to memorize lines. And that was big for me, and learning blocking. And because if you screw up, you have to start from the beginning. It's not like other shows where they just clip it and move on. You have to start from the beginning and do the whole scene again.
When you're starting out in that, did you know that you were setting the foundation for your career, and how you sort of did anything is how you did everything?
You know, as a 23-year-old kid from Tampa, I didn't know much. I just knew that, you know, my plan was to move up to New York after college and study theater or acting, or get in, you know, join a studio and study and like wait tables at night. And I kind of bypassed that whole part of my story. And so I do know this, that on soaps, you know, when they hand you go pick up your wardrobe from the wardrobe room, and you know, and then at the end of the day, you hang it up and you bring it back to the wardrobe room. So a lot of the things that I don't go to the wardrobe trailer on shows that I'm on now, but I do still hang up and fold and put my shoes and my socks. So yeah, I think some of the training that I got as a young man on that show is still, that work ethic is definitely still in me.
I was going to
That's
ask
great
you,
husband training.
Yeah.
where do you think your work ethic comes from? Have you always had it, or has it developed over time?
My folks, definitely my folks, two immigrants, definitely very strong immigrant mentality, school, you know, B's maybe were okay. If you got a C, it was not okay.
Or your family would have disowned me. Would have been
Yeah,
out, I'd been gone.
like it was, you know, so doing well in school. If I did a sport, I had to do really, really well, you know, just kind of always pushing to be better than where we were at the current moment. So that, I think it definitely came from my mother and my father.
How did you pivot out of soaps?
You know, I did some theater while I was doing a soap, which was great. I somehow negotiated when I was on the soap that I could take pilot season and go to Los Angeles. And if I got a pilot, I could leave the show. And I don't know how I negotiated that, but they said, sure. And so it just took a lot of, you know, as any actor, you just auditioning, and I got a movie. And then finally, when I left the show, I, you know, transitioned to nighttime stuff and some movies, but mainly nighttime stuff. Yeah.
And while this is going on, are you simultaneously building your family, or does
Yes.
this?
Yeah, we had a kid. We had our child at 26. Michael was when we got pregnant quick, and we had, you know, we were kids raising a kid. And Michael is funny. He says he's like the third in our relationship. And we're like, what are you talking about? He goes, we all grew up together. We all grew up together, and he knows that, which is kind of interesting for a kid to understand that we were also just growing up.
And when you had your first kid, how were you guys able to maintain the pace of your careers? We think about that all the time. We're on our third kid now, and things change.
Yeah.
And I was thinking just about the early days of the show because we started it close to a decade ago. No kids, young, tons of energy.
Yep.
And it's just a different dance now.
Yeah, I don't know if it wasn't well thought out. We just did it. Being on a soap, we could bring a caretaker with us there while we were working, so our kids were always around us. Shortly after that, Kelly got the daytime show, which is the perfect schedule for a working mom. You're done by noon or shortly after that. So she's always been extremely involved, even as busy as she is. I can say that even before I got this gig with Kelly, I think for 7 years, I wasn't really living at home. I was either in Los Angeles or in New Mexico or in Canada for months at a time. So she really held down the fort. And I think as actors, we've always had New York City as a base, which is really, really rare, and given that the soaps were shot here initially and then live was the anchor that kept us here. So our kids never really changed schools. They always went to the same school. They always lived. We changed homes as they grew up, but they grew up in New York City.
And what was the transition like from traveling so much to then being able to be home?
I think it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the last few years of travel were right smack dab in the pandemic. So, and I was working in Canada at the time. And whenever I came and went to Canada, I would have to quarantine for 2 weeks at a time. So I couldn't leave. So if I had 5 days off, typically before COVID, I would fly home. And I'd take a red eye home and I'd be home for 4 days and I'd take a flight back to Vancouver and, I'd go back to work. Or if in a specific episode, if I only had 2 days of work out of 10 days shoot, I'd do my 2 days and I'd fly home. But during the pandemic, that changed everything. And I think the last year I worked on a show in Vancouver, I was gone. It was a 10-month shoot. And I think I was home 20 days.
Wow. That's tough.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I came home and she was sleeping on my side of the bed. And I said, she said, it's just closer to the door and this is where you sleep, but it's closer. And I kind of looked at her, I go, yeah, but this is my side of the bed. She's like, you don't live here. You live in Canada. This is where I sleep. And I said, you're right. I guess I'll take the other side.
So what do you do about that? Like, how did you decide that this isn't working? I gotta get home.
It came down, my contract was over and I think there might've, I knew that I wanted to come back to New York. And when this opportunity came up to join her on the show, I thought, man, we started out working together under really hard circumstances, new parents, young kids, 12-hour days, and we worked, our storylines were always together. So there was we were working together a lot. And then I think we also lived in New Jersey for like a year and a half, 2 years of that. So we commuted a lot of that. That was insane.
Did you commute together? Or
yes, commuted together.
Okay.
So there was an hour commute, 12-hour day, another hour commute back. So that was really under hard circumstances.
I'm very excited to learn from you because obviously we have a similar dynamic where we work together.
Yeah.
And my advice on this show is I tell couples not to do it.
Yeah.
Like when they ask, I said, don't do it. Because it's really, I actually think in a weird way, and she may disagree, figuring out this dynamic has been easier than figuring out how to be a couple, how to be, parents together.
It depends on the day.
The professional relationship together is a harder
It
thing.
definitely is. It absolutely is. But in this iteration of us working together, my calculus was I had filled in so many times, I think over 100 times. And sometimes it was if I was home from Vancouver and, Ryan got sick or something, or, I would she'd wake me up. It's like 7:30 in the morning. Said, can you do the show today? I said, when does it start? She said, we have to leave in like 10 minutes. Can you be ready? I said, sure. Yeah. I just have to shave and shower. I'm put on a suit or whatever. And I just go with her. And I'm like, but I knew that out of those 100 times that I did it, it was so much fun. I'm working with arguably the best in the business.
It's quite,
Agreed.
It's
yeah,
incredible career.
She's amazing. I've done it so many times with her, times where I kind of was screwing up and she'd always She always saved me, always kept the ball in the air.
What's a screw up? Like what? Give me an example.
Like, you have a huge guest on the show and I freeze. I'm like starstruck, and she's conducting the interview by herself.
Who are you starstruck by?
Oh gosh. Let me think about that.
Yeah.
But along the way, for sure, starstruck, and I didn't know how to what to say, and she would just handle the interview, and then we, the host chats are always fun and great because it's us, and I have such a good rapport. We have such a good rapport, and she's so funny and she's so quick, and I trust her because that relationship, as you know, you have to trust each other so much because things can go left or right, and I knew that through that, my whole experience had been great, and the fan response was always great. And so I said, look, I haven't been home. I'd love to be home for a while. I get to work with someone who's really good at what they do. The schedule is amazing. We're out of there early, noon-ish. I have the flexibility to maybe do a play because I haven't been in New York for such a long time. And I'd like to do this now. And so that was kind of the calculus the calculations that we made.
And did all of that fall into line as you wanted it to?
Oh yeah, for sure. I will say that, the 100 times plus that I filled in, there were no consequences. I was a hero. I showed up, I saved the day, I was like, and it wasn't my job. I was just filling in. As soon as it became real and it was for real, there was definitely a period of time where I was probably overthinking things. And it was like, wait, and she's like, relax, you're doing fine. Or if I would screw something up, reading off a teleprompter, I thought it was like the biggest deal ever. Whereas before, I don't even remember reading off a teleprompter. I didn't remember what I was saying. So I think that the weight of the decision became super real for me. And I think it goes back to what does success mean for me? I want to be good at what I do.
And do you have an inner monologue that me and Mark, who we're friends with, I was talking about, it's like, I wonder who you compete with at this point. Like, is it yourself and your inner monologue, or are there ideas of yourself or other people? When you think about what's driving you and pushing you?
I think myself. Yeah, for sure.
What does that look like inside your head?
It could be at the gym. That's a daily competition with myself. I'm not competing against there's nobody else. I know what I need to do. I know what I'm there to do. I know if I didn't do it, being prepared for my morning show. I want to be prepared. We get notes the night before. I wouldn't say I pour over them because at this point, after 2 years, you kind of know how it goes. I would say being present on that show is super important. That's, not thinking about, the 20 other things that are going through my mind. That's a competition that I kind of keep with myself, be really present. Knowing that the assignment for that show in the morning, it's unlike any other show where we're not a news show. People are not there to hear anything super serious. They're there for a reprieve, I think, and that's our assignment. So I think that, making sure I do that and I, get the energy up to do that every day I'm competitive with myself about that.
And what are the things you're doing to prepare and to get yourself in that headspace? Not only just in the work, but in the gym. Like I think it's interesting for people to know, because like I said, you're a high performer in a lot of areas. And I think that inner dialogue is important.
I'll look at pictures of me like 2 or 3 years ago.
Look like better or worse?
And I want to be, because I think I'm at 50, I was definitely in better shape than I was at 30.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I just got serious, and, I take health very seriously, have very few vices. I love a cigar. Nice. But that's about it. And so I know that, that kind of health is it's fleeting. And knowing what the next stage, as I'm 54 going in, what is 60 going to look like? What do I want to be? Where do I want to be doing at 60? And how do I want to look at 60? And it seems super vain, but I also want to be able to play with my grandkids. and I want to be able to run around and, do that. I took up golf. That's a whole other level of competition.
A lot of time.
I like to play by myself.
Okay.
If I can.
It's therapeutic.
It's totally therapeutic. So I run around that golf course. I can get done in less than 2 hours.
Yeah, imagine if you're doing it by yourself and not lugging around the group. You can.
No, not a lot of conversation.
Yeah.
Just a few conversations with myself, like, oh, why did you do that? So I love that competitive side, because you're really playing against yourself.
I'm curious how you think about time and maybe specifically in a day, because of how do you get it all done? How do you make sure you're hitting all the buckets? Do you have a set schedule every single day, or do you live and die by the calendar?
Down to the hour. Typically, if there's a window of 4 or 5 hours, I love that, because then it's just decompress and just kind of, heal a little bit and just kind of don't do nothing. Sometimes I do nothing, which is great, but usually it's pretty regimented by
And
the
what's
hour.
the morning routine before you go in?
Okay, so
And what time do you guys have to go in? Early, I imagine.
yeah, early, but not as early. Everybody thinks, they think, wow, you must get up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the
That's
morning.
what I thought.
No, the show's live at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that's so nice.
Okay, so it's live at 9. I walk into the studio at 8.
Oh,
I wake up at 6.
okay.
Okay, that's not
Theoretically, I could wake up at 7 and shower and shave and be in my car at 7:20 with no problem. But Kelly gets up a little bit earlier and starts to prepare, and I get up to make her a cup of coffee. So I get up at 6. I think it'd probably be a mistake to get up at 7, because I'm not fully awake by it takes me a little bit to get awake.
I think you
So-
need 2 hours before you do anything.
I agree.
Yeah.
So 6, by 8 o'clock, I'm awake. I walk into the studio, and I got to tell you, the most nervous I get about anything during the day, at 8:28, I do what's called a live cut-in. And so for ABC News in New York City and the Tri-Borough area. So anybody that's watching ABC. And what that means is say, hey, Mark, we're going to cut to Mark Consuelos. He's going to tell you what's on live today. And so I have to tell them who's on the show and what we're doing. And the thought that I'm on the news really freaks me out.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
It freaks me out that I'm on ABC News in New York, the biggest market, in the country.
You're on one of the
arguably.
biggest television shows, and that freaks you out.
To me, that's being on the news is completely different. And I don't know why.
It feels more serious, maybe.
It's totally serious. I'm reading off a teleprompter, and I'm a little dyslexic, if not a lot. And so I know that it's going to be an issue, and I'm going to get something wrong probably. And it's okay. And sometimes I don't get anything wrong, and that's great. The first year, they could have a blooper reel of the slip ups and the mess ups that I do. But that to me is probably the most nerve-wracking part of my workday.
Is the first time you see your wife when you make her coffee or on air?
When I make her coffee.
Okay, so you see her in
Yeah.
the morning before you guys go
Yeah,
on.
I see her. I know when she gets up and she goes to, and then I see her in the bathroom. We're getting ready for work.
And do you guys have a strategy sesh, or do you just kind of throw it to the wall? It's like,
We never talk about work.
wow.
We never talk about work.
Really, Michael, are you writing notes right
maybe
now?
that's the secret.
I am
maybe we're
literally in the shower dry brushing and like trying to have one moment to myself of peace. And he's like, so what do you,
Maybe
Yeah,
that's the secret to all
that's the
this.
secret.
We talk too much about it.
But on the flip side, when I was doing a show and she was doing this show, we would talk about work all the time. We would say, how was your day? And we talk about it. Now we know how our day went.
Ah,
We may talk about something that struck us as funny.
okay.
I'm like, that was really funny today. And we'll say that. Or, whoa, that was weird. Or,
But yeah, you don't really need the "Hey, honey, how was your day?" thing because you were together the whole
Nope.
time. Yeah,
It's
I'd still
awesome.
want that. I still want it, even if you were with me all day. Just so you know.
Well, we still, yeah, we she's a big. We have to re-talk about the thing
Yeah,
over and over.
I like to take the cadaver on the table,
resuscitate it.
dissect it,
Like, we'll dissect
turn it
this moment
over.
later at dinner. We'll
Mark
talk
and
about this.
Gillian know this. Turn it over.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
We don't even, I got to tell you, there's this thing called talk show amnesia.
Okay.
If you were to ask me who was on the show today,
I know exactly what you're talking about. I
Are
know
you
exactly what you're
serious? You don't know who was on the show?
one person, Joanne Froggatt, because I think the name is interesting and I love her on Mobland.
That's interesting.
Nobody-
It's almost like you're in your flow and your routine.
And then it's gone.
You forget sometimes who you've spoken to or the conversation. It's not
Yeah.
that you forget the person, you forget the conversation.
Dude, I hope you remember this conversation
I will
later.
remember this
I will
one.
remember this
Because
one.
she's, you know why we're gonna go to dinner and she's gonna
I'm
beat the
gonna
dead
dissect
horse.
it.
She's gonna
Don't worry, it's
unbury
good.
it,
It's
beat
all
it
it's
again.
all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
I think that when you it seems when you do what you guys do for a living, and kind of this goes with us too, is like you only have capacity for so much in your brain, and when you're interviewing all these different people, you
Yep.
have to like move on to the next one, or you have to like clear capacity.
Clear.
Does that make sense?
Bandwidth.
Yes. Bandwidth's
Yes.
the better word.
Storage.
Yeah, and
Totally.
I think being a host of a show is different than being interviewed because you kind of have to keep it moving along. And so you're one trying to be present in the moment, but you're also
Yeah.
trying to make sure that it's flowing and going well.
That's right.
So you're keeping kind of like two opposing ideas in your head.
We had Charlie Sheen on this week. I remember that interview.
I want
Okay.
to talk to that guy.
I just started his book.
Did you see the? Oh, you haven't seen the documentary.
I haven't seen the doc
We
yet.
watched the documentary.
Okay.
Fascinating.
It's
You
a
know why
fascinating
he's so
life.
great? Because he's so honest.
That's right.
It's refreshing.
I agree.
It's like he lays it all. He lays the cadaver on the table.
Yeah, and look under the covers.
Lets you look everywhere.
Look under everywhere.
Everywhere.
And to have his exes, you'll see in the doc, he has his ex-wives, and they speak freely.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
you just know.
And there's still love there.
I mean,
Yeah.
Denise
Interesting.
just went on the carpet with him, right? I think for his event. She's been on
Yeah.
the show. And I thought that was nice because they were together and it seemed like, very.
Yeah,
He had Heidi
Positive.
Fleiss on the show, who was like the madam that he was.
and she's pissed at him. She's really angry at him still
wow.
because he had to testify
Oh.
against her.
Okay.
And I forgot
can't
about
wait
that.
to watch
I
this
forgot.
doc.
It's great.
What
Okay.
a life.
You have had, in my opinion, one of the most successful marriages in Hollywood. How have you guys managed to do that? How have you blocked out the noise? I'm sure you could ask this a lot, but like, what are the secrets after reflecting back?
I think the first thing is that we would say that we're really not in Hollywood. We live in New York.
Okay.
And I know it's kind of like a
No, fair, that's
pedantic
fair.
type of thing, but I think there's something about New York.
Yeah.
That if you got to be tough, and there's a bunch of stuff going on every day, bigger than you, and nobody has time for any of that stuff. So that's cool. I think that was also, I think that both our parents are still together. We have, 60 years of our parents together. So was like,
Like there's no option.
Nope. No option. You're getting through it. I'm crazy about her.
So cute.
I would think that's a huge thing. I have, I guess, just the utmost respect for who she is as a person. I know she's got my back all the time. She's extremely patient with me. She was extremely patient with me.
Write that one in. Write that down on the note
Because
card.
I did not come, ready-made as, a guy that was ready to do, step up and be that person right away. And so she was, and I don't know, I feel like we really love the idea of sharing a life with someone that you really respect and love, and the different chapters in these books. And just like any book that you read, some of the chapters suck and some of the chapters are amazing. And some of the chapters are kind of boring, and boring's great. And I love the idea of that when it's all said and done, that we'll have this, if I'm lucky, we'll have this book of us being together and with multiple generations, grandkids, and, we'll have done it together. These two silly kids who on a wing and a prayer and like went to Vegas and got married. It's not supposed to work, and so far, knock on wood, in May, it'll be 30 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Thanks.
Wow. I think you're onto something, what you said about the boredom thing, because I tell Michael this, no, marriage is like a Wednesday. It's like a Wednesday. You
Yeah.
have to like get really comfortable with that Wednesday, because it's going to be sort
Sure.
of like,
And thank God for that Wednesday,
I like a Wednesday, but sometimes a Wednesday's boring.
because you can't do Saturday night every day.
You can't do
The
Saturday night every
consistency is
day.
not a bad thing.
It's a great thing.
But the generation, I think, below us, maybe our generation too, they sometimes want Saturday night every single night.
Yeah.
And I think you're really onto something about the boredom thing. You have to embrace the boredom part. That comes with anyone in any couple.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we think about this all the time. We've known each other for so long, pre-internet, pre-social media. We haven't been together that long. But we didn't have all of these like for me, a similar thought as you is like there was no real other option than to like make things work when they get tough. It wasn't just like, oh, that annoyed me for the day. Now I'm on to the next. And
Yeah.
it's like the swipe culture of, hey, something made me a little uncomfortable. I
Sure.
didn't like that just a little bit. And it's like next.
Sure. I mean,
next.
we have so many friends that are not married anymore, and I'm like, okay, well, that's, I feel like if you can get through the other side, albeit there are obviously certain circumstances where it should be done and certain behaviors should not be accepted and, all that, well, that's not for this discussion, but if you can make it to the other side, I think it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it builds character in the relationship, and it shows that you can kind of get through things together.
That's right.
Quick break to talk about Armor Colostrum. Ever since we discovered Armor Colostrum, it has become a staple in our pantry, a staple for our family. Our kids take it, our dogs take it, we take it, and you can take it as well. Here's the thing. We live in an environment our biology was never designed for. EMFs, artificial light, seed oils, microplastics, endocrine disruptors, chronic stress, all of the things that we talk about on this podcast for the last decade, the things that we're trying to avoid, the things we're trying to minimize. This is why Armor Colostrum is so important. These modern assaults disrupt cellular signaling, negatively impacting gut health and accelerating aging. Armor Colostrum is able to revive cellular signaling, bolstering our health from within to defend against everyday threats. And here's the thing, colostrum is nature's first whole food with over 400 bioactive nutrients that work at the cellular level to reactivate your body's innate capacity to regenerate and thrive. So if you're ready to reclaim your health, check out Armor Colostrum. Like I said, ever since we started it, we feel great. So this product packs a lot in one punch. It comes in these jugs that you can take a simple scoop out. You can either put it into a beverage of your choice or directly scoop it into your mouth. That's what our kids do. That's what we do. Tastes a little bit like a milk dud. But again, if that's too much, you can also just add it to water. They come in the jugs. They also come in individualized packets, which we take to the office, which we take when we travel. And of course, we've worked out a special offer for our audience. Receive 30% off your first subscription order. All you have to do is go to armra.com/skinny or enter skinny to get 30% off your first subscription order. That's armra.com/skinny. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/skinny and get on your way to being your best self. Here's the thing, we've all done it before, turning to our barista, our hairdresser, our barber, or a random stranger in the bathroom for life advice. As fun as they are to talk to about everyday topics, when you're looking for help about relationships, anxiety, depression, or other clinical issues, they may not have all the right answers. Instead, get guidance from credentialed therapists online with BetterHelp. Lauren and I have been talking about BetterHelp on this podcast for years and years now because we could not be bigger believers in therapy, and especially online therapy that allows you to do this right from the comfort at your own home, conveniently and effectively without having to drive across town and sit in some waiting room. One thing that we've learned doing this podcast for years is that so many of the high performers that come on here and share their stories have benefited from therapy. They share their ideas, they share their thoughts, they talk through their issues and their problems with licensed therapists that are able to help them work through whatever issue they may be dealing with. So if you find yourself sharing your life's problems in the group chat or oversharing with strangers, this is maybe not the best place. It's not that it's not great to talk to these people, but finding somebody that has the license and the credentials and the expertise to help you work through whatever you're working on is so important. So check them out. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/skinny. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/skinny. This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything from products to content to time, all in one place, all on your own terms. I could personally not be a bigger fan of Squarespace, and here's why. This gives the individual the powers to control their destiny in their own hands. No longer at the mercy of third-party platforms and these social platforms that we have no control over, at the mercy of their algorithms, Squarespace helps you build your own online platform, website, portal, whatever you want to call it, to do whatever you want to do online, whether that's creating a blog, selling subscription content, managing a newsletter, selling products, doing a side hustle, doing a main hustle, creating your own blog, sharing your own thoughts, or just creating a hobby for yourself. Squarespace lets you do it all on your own in one place cost effectively. So if you're somebody who's been sitting around thinking that you want to start a side hustle, you want to start that business, or you want to start that hobby, think no further. I know one of the biggest points of friction when it comes to creating anything, a business, a brand, a hobby, whatever it may be, is just the ability to get started. Squarespace helps you do that. So if you've been sitting on that idea, they can help you execute and they can help you stand it up immediately online cost effectively. So there's no excuses. Like I said, it's cost effective, it's easy to access, and they have so many tools that can help you stand up your dream today. All you have to do is go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, squarespace.com/skinny to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Again, that's squarespace.com/skinny.
You have 3 kids. What do you want to instill in your children?
I think we started really early on not being assholes. Can I curse on this?
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So being polite and, and I was having a conversation with one of my children recently, and I was like taking issue with certain, you can't say that. And this is, and I'm like, it wasn't so much of a lecture. And he said, just know that outside of this house, you get nothing but good reports about me. I'm like, you're right. So, but I said, it's not a bad thing to bring that kind of into this house. So that would be number one, to have some empathy, and to be driven, to have that inner drive for themselves to do things greater and better than we ever have, to be better than us. However that is. I mean, it's not money, or just to have a passion and go after it and be happy. We're super proud of our kids. And we recently, since we've been empty nesters over the past few years, because our youngest went to college, we essentially are empty nesters for the past 4 years until he would come home. And this past summer, we planned a trip to Italy for the first time, just Kelly and me, for 2 weeks. And we had to stop over in Switzerland to visit Lola and her boyfriend and their family. And then we went to Italy, and my daughter's like, where are you guys going? I said, we're going to go to this place. She's like, oh my God, I love that place. She says, do you mind if I stop by for a few days? We'd love that. And then my son, who just graduated, called. He said, what are you guys doing? And we said, we're in Italy. He said, yeah, you mentioned that. Does that offer still stand? I said, of course. And so he flew over. And so we're sitting there with our kids who are in their 20s that still want to be with us and still want to hang out with us. And I think that to us, it might be a reflection of certain few things that we did right.
It's very full circle in what you said in the beginning about family. There's that clip that I'm sure many people have seen, and there's a guy interviewing a billionaire, and he says, what does success look like to you? And the guy said, when you get to an age where your grown children actually want to take the time to come and spend it with you.
Yeah.
And he said, that's basically success. And this guy had all the financial business success in the world.
I agree. It's great. And yeah, sure, it would have been a lot more romantic. And we had this nice room, and there was a room downstairs, and there was a room across from us. And our daughter decided to take the room across from us in Italy. I'm like, why are you staying next door to us? Go downstairs.
At least it wasn't a joint room.
No, it wasn't, but it was literally, 10 feet away, was across the hall. I'm like, gosh, please just stay downstairs.
Tell us about your entrepreneurship outside of the show, because I know you just got a team. You got to tell us about that. Is it bought a team, got a team?
Bought a stake in a team.
Bought a stake in a team.
An Italian team, yeah.
Okay, tell us about that.
It was this, I played soccer, not really well, but it's definitely a passion of mine. I love the sport so much. Being raised in Europe for, first part of my life, and having European, my mom's Italian, and really falling in love with Italian football. It's been a big, huge part of my life. I love it. I didn't get any soccer players as kids, which was, a moment that I had to come to terms with, because that's what I wanted. I wanted a soccer player. Didn't get one, but that's okay. They're awesome. So when this opportunity came, it came out of nowhere through a friend of a friend. It was an opportunity to buy a stake in this club, and it went something like this. There's a 5th division team in this region of Italy. They used to be in the third division. They went bankrupt, so the federation kicked them out, and they have to start in the fifth division. And the season starts in 2 weeks. And I said, okay. And do we have any players? And the partner, who eventually became a partner, said, no. I said, okay. Do we have a coach? He said, no. Do we have a stadium? Maybe. I said, when does the season start? He says, 2 weeks. I said, let's do it. I think this is awesome. This is great. And the main thing was that, listen, this town of Campobasso had a storied history in Italian football. They never made it past the second division, but still, second division soccer in Italy is humongous. Serie A is the ultimate. That's the best. But even in the lower leagues, it can be massive for these towns. And they were going to lose their team unless we stepped in and did something about it. And I said, this is awesome. This is like the best fantasy league I could ever possibly be part of. And that was 3 years ago.
And so what does your interaction with the team, like kind of day to day or month to month, look like?
I thought it was going to be more of a silent partnership. Mm-hmm. But my partner, Matt Rosetta, who's amazing, and he'd been involved in Italian soccer a few years before that. He does a lot of the heavy lifting, but he brought me in really early on with a lot of the player selections, a lot of the coach and general manager selections, dealing with sponsors, dealing with all facets of it. So it was kind of like an MBA in professional sports that I just jumped into. And I knew that I was spending a lot of time on the phone. I knew that I was, but every time Kelly would walk in the room and I'm speaking Italian because we're talking to Italy, and she would like turn around and walk out, I'm like, oh man, this is a lot of time. And this is taking a lot of time, but I loved it. And getting to, our first 2 years, we won 2 championships. So we made it right back up to the third division where the team was before we bought them, and which is where we currently sit.
Well,
It
congratulations.
sounds creative too for you, like to be able to
Totally.
put all the pieces together.
It pushes all my buttons. The competitive side, I'm extremely competitive, typically with myself. But then when it's soccer, when it's my soccer team, I'm very competitive, and it's creative.
Yeah.
We have to design uniforms, which I think are very cool. That they're going to be wearing that kit for the full season, and it's amazing. There's drama every day. There are fires to put out every single day. I do like problem solving, so it pushes that button for me too. A little bit of problem solving, and and you get really comfortable with losing as well, which I probably needed to do a little bit.
This show is brought to you by Daily Look. This is such a good idea. Okay, basically, this is the #1 highest rated premium personal styling service. So what you do with Daily Look is you try on up to 12 premium pieces per box in the comfort of your home, and it just saves you time and effort. So what you do is you fill out a style quiz and you include your price and your lifestyle preferences, and you get basically 12 hand-selected curated items delivered to your home. So it's essentially like having a stylist at your beck and call in the comfort of your own room. So for me, I am so busy and I have so much going on with 3 kids, but I like to look my best. And so I love investing in styling. I think styling can really change everything. I've really put effort into my clothes in the last year and a half, especially like what looks good on camera. And Daily Look can also help you with this. Their mission is simple. It's to elevate your style. And they work with established brands. So you can get a box with like Kate Spade, Good American, AG, Girlfriend Collective, Spiritual Gangster, and more. Daily Look has sizes for almost every body, from extra small to 3X. And they have like 0 to 24 too. It's time to get your own personal stylist with Daily Look. Head to dailylook.com to take your style quiz and use code SKINNY. You get 50% off your first order. Once again, that's dailylook.com. You get 50% off, and make sure you use our promo code SKINNY so they know we sent you. One last time, dailylook.com and promo code SKINNY. There is only one diaper and one wipe brand that I use for my baby. I use a lot of diapers and wipes, okay? And you want to be very thoughtful about what you're putting on your baby's skin. And that is why I love Coterie. I'm obsessed with Coterie. I use them all the time. I have them in every drawer, every handbag, every kid's room. They are the best. So if you're looking for diapers or wipes, that is what I would recommend. That is what I use on my newborn, my toddlers, their hands, all the things. All their products are multitasking. So they also have a first wash. It's a tear-free hair and body wash that leaves everything so silky. They have a soft cream that lightly but so effectively moisturizes both body and face. And they have a bum balm. And this is a gorgeous, occlusive balm that I love, not only for diaper changes, but also for dry patches all over. So if you're looking for a brand that really gets it, that has a big focus on ingredient, you know what an ingredient checker I am, and you're looking to put it on your baby's skin, this is a really good brand to check out. I personally love this brand because it takes a lot of guesswork out of it. Everything is hypoallergenic, dermatologist tested, made without fragrance, which is really important to me, or parabens. It's cruelty-free, vegan, microbiome friendly, and pH balanced. They do all of the heavy lifting for us. Head to Coterie.com and use code SKINNY20 at checkout for 20% off your first order at Coterie.com. Definitely get the diapers and the wipers. I do not mess around when it comes to my creatine. I have been taking creatine for probably the last 2 years. I habit stack it. I put it in a big tumbler with a bunch of ice. I froth it up with some aminos. I love it. The creatine that I use is by Momentous. We have talked about this brand so many times. They're very specific about their ingredients. They don't follow trends. They don't use any generic ingredients. Everything is thought out. So they have this new creatine lemon, and this is the purest creatine on the planet, okay? So it's pharmaceutical grade creatine. It's single sourced from Germany. It's not bulk creatine or questionable origin. It's like very legit creatine. And that's this brand, like I'm telling you, it's like no fillers, no artificial junk. Everything is validated. And their creatine is awesome. If you're looking to start creatine and you're a woman, I cannot recommend it more. I do it every single day. I do 5 grams. I love it. Michael loves it. There's so many benefits, and Momentous really takes all of the pain points out. Everything is backed by science and transparency. While you're on the site, if you're a woman, you also have to check out the Woman's 3. I am a huge fan of this brand because it cuts through the noise. Head to livemomentous.com and use code SKINNY. You get up to 35% off your first order. That's skinny at livemomentous.com. Let me introduce you to Boulevard. If you're into self-care, you're going to love this. Boulevard is the fastest growing client experience platform built specifically for appointment-based self-care businesses. It's not just a software, it's a smarter, more personal, and more simple way to manage all your business's locations in one place. So they have bookings, they have payments, to appointment reminders, to even client profiles. Boulevard elevates every client interaction and works as beautifully as you do. I love streamlining everything. And so this is really amazing to be able to do. They even have AI powered scheduling and marketing tools. So you'll see higher bookings and gratuity, which is amazing, which means more ROI on your marketing spend and smoother days for you and your team. I also think this allows the practitioner to do what they're best at and not have to be in the minutia. See why more than 5,000 top beauty and wellness brands choose Boulevard to streamline and grow their businesses. Self-care businesses do not just switch to Boulevard, they stay. If you're running a self-care business, it's not just about treating clients, it's about keeping them and keeping them coming back and giving them an experience they deserve. Visit joinblvd.com to learn more about Boulevard and book a demo to see if it's right for your business. And for a limited time, Boulevard is offering new customers 20% off your first year subscription. That's joinblvd.com to learn more. joinblvd.com. I am so obsessed with this brow peptide. I use it all day long. I use it in the morning. I use it to touch up my brows. I even use it at night. Why it's amazing is it's castor oil. Castor oil is what Egyptians used to use to grow their hair. And I added a peptide to it, so it's a little umph. So many of these brow growth serums on the market are melting the fat around the eyes, which is so crazy. And this one is just non-toxic. I use it while pregnant. And it just gives your brows this like glazed, youthful look, almost like a feathered brow. It's so pretty. I caught Michael using it. That's how like clean it is.
A guy can use it and it lifts your face. I use this after my skincare. So in the morning, I habit stack it onto all of my skincare. So I'll do everything. I'll put my caffeinated sunscreen on, and then I'll just use the spoolie to go through my brows and brush them up. And it, like I said, it gives you like a wet lifted look. And then I also will use the little lash one. See how we have like a little lash situation at the bottom on top of my lashes before I go to bed after my skincare. You can touch up your brows with this. I sometimes even will use brow pencil. My makeup artists use it. I think this is my favorite Skinny Confidential product. I'm very, very proud of this. And it works. It grows your brows because, like I said, castor oil, Egyptians. Telling you, you got to try this. I have one in every purse. You can't go wrong. You can subscribe on our site, shopskinnyconfidential.com, and it's delivered straight to your door. If you want to upgrade your beauty routine and upgrade your eyebrows and lift your face, you got to try the Skinny Confidential's Brow Peptide.
I think that you should do a little marriage therapy on Michael and I. So I saw you guys' house. I think it was an Arc Digest, I want to say.
Okay.
Somewhere online, I saw your beautiful home.
Yes.
Did you have a say? Did Kelly have a say? Did you guys work together? Because we butt heads in the design department, but it sounds like you like to
Don't
be
you think she
creative.
should not maybe like step into like the garage portion of the
No,
design?
the garage is all mine.
I feel like that's like an overstep.
No.
I would
Garage is an overstep.
say you got to give her something, then she's got to give you something on that. Like, does she have a hair sink maybe that she can get her hair
She
done?
A hair sink? Oh, a hair sink. Like a blowout bar.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like a vanity.
I might. Well, maybe I'll
No,
use
like
that too.
a
That's
place
a
you can get your hair.
Yeah, give me a hair sink.
And then you'll have your garage.
Don't you have to
It's
set up a water?
negotiations, Mike. It's negotiations.
I want to set up a cigar room. I know you're big into cigars.
I have a cigar room.
Yeah. See, you have that.
That's where I saw the cigar room that I sent to you.
That's important. That's important to have.
Yeah.
So did you have hands-on like authority?
I love architecture.
Okay.
Design is, I work with people that are really good at that. And I do have opinions, but I work with people that give me just a few choices, and
Okay.
I know what I like. I know what I like, and I know what I don't like. I don't necessarily know how to create like a color palette or any of that stuff. But like spatial things in architecture, I am super fascinated about.
So is it Kelly's infusion of her opinion on the design, or do you feel like you have like your own
No, be
area?
honest. She's trying
to
to lead you
design.
down the route of like you don't have a say, but it sounds like you have a say.
I think
So
I think
that's
if you
what we can move on to the next
I
topic.
think if you were to ask Kelly, she would say it's I was a driving force through every detail.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Huh.
looks like we're gonna have to be
Wrong
in that
question to
driver's seat.
ask.
Yeah,
Who
wrong question.
asked you that
All right,
question? I thought
perfect
you were
But she
answer.
did say, I think I would love a hair sink. I go, perfect. This is how we're going to do this. And
Yeah,
what do
so-
you want? And I think she's super happy about everything in the house.
Yeah, so I might give you a hair sink. If
You know, though,
want
with the
one.
hair sink, you have to attach a special water thing, or there's like something you have to do to the water.
A filter?
I don't know what it's
a
called.
drain.
No, you have to like get something in the house that connects. I don't know what it's
Well,
called.
we're not going to solve it in this
Okay.
episode.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the biggest topics on this show is health and wellness.
Okay.
And this could be a whole episode with you. Like if you and I were sitting down, I would be drilling you for
Sure.
hours just about your routines. But what are the kind of non-negotiables for you? Like what are you doing every week, every day? Like the things you keep coming back to take care of yourself.
At least 4 or 5 days in the gym.
Weightlifting?
I'm pretty strict on my diet. I got this crazy calculator that calculates my macros.
The chrono type of thing?
Chronometer.
Chronometer.
Love it. Love
Because it
it.
just tells you
Are
everything.
you eating mainly meat? Are you a vegetarian? Like, what's your?
I do eat a lot of meat and
Okay.
fish. I'm not a vegetarian. I hit my protein goals
Nice.
because I know that as I get older, I'm losing muscle daily. At least in my mind, that's the fight that I'm fighting. So want to keep fueling that. What are some sleep? I'm getting better at. I'm getting better at
Have you guys
sleep.
tried the 8 sleep yet?
I was one of the first. Yeah. Do you have an 8 sleep?
Yeah. I had a fighter for it.
do you know how to turn it on?
Yes.
No, him.
Of course, it's on every night. It's amazing.
But it is I have to say though, it is a little clumsy if we have it in a couple places. So it tells me I'm somewhere else sometimes. I'm not there. I'm here. I think the best feature of the 8 sleep obviously is the cooling. Do you like it hot?
I like it cool.
Oh, you like it cool.
I
And
like
you
it
like
cool.
They're cold.
My wife likes it hot
All
Oh
night?
no! What do you
all
do?
night. So,
Oh, wow.
but it's split down the middle.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we have different settings. You and
I can control I'm like you could refrigerate meat on my side, and you could cook meat on her side. But I think the best feature of 8 Sleep is how to wake up, is that vibration.
The best.
No more like alarms. It just
He
it's
still
like,
uses them.
it's the gentle vroom, vroom.
I need that alarm across the room to make me.
The vibration
walk
won't
out.
wake you up.
It will wake me up, but I might pass back out. I get up, like, our kids, and it maybe, I don't know what's going on
Oh,
with
you have
these
young
school
kids,
schedules.
though.
Yeah,
You
we
have
Why do
have
they
young
start
kids.
so early?
And why aren't they in school all the time?
I don't know. Like, but my whole thing is like somebody should lobby about why these kids have to start. It's probably not good for them from a health perspective either.
Well, how early is early?
Like, they have to be at school
7:30.
at 7:40.
Ooh, is that early? I forget.
It's hard to rip them out of bed
it's
at
early 'cause they won't
6:30,
get up
shove
for-
food in their face when they don't want to eat, and then like
It is early.
brush
oh, man,
the
I don't
hair.
miss
The
that.
girls, they don't like, it's a lot of like,
Yeah, it's early.
I forgot about that. I haven't had to deal with
It's
that.
and then they go
for
and they get
a
sick all the
decade.
time.
then they
Yeah,
get sick.
strep throat,
Oh,
Yeah, they bring home the
pink
plague.
eye.
oh,
Oh, we haven't dealt
we
with
haven't
pink
had
eye.
hand to mouth or whatever the
Yeah, hand and mouth, hand and mouth,
hand in mouth.
hand and mouth. Any
Lice?
lice?
No, not yet, but
No lice. We haven't had. I think we had a scare once, but that was about it.
If they get lice on my 8 Sleep, whew, that's gonna be a hard one for me.
But sleep is a big.
A big
It's
one.
huge.
Do you do anything cold plunge, sauna, red
I
light,
do.
anything like that?
I do sauna.
Okay.
I love that a lot. I do cold plunge. I find it hard to do it in a place that it's cold outside.
yeah, that is hard.
So I do it when it's really like warm, and I can get out into the sun right afterwards. I'm a bit of a wimp that way, but yeah, it's great.
If you were to give our audience one piece of advice when it comes to interviewing, say someone wants to be an interview, they're a podcaster. I'm asking this for my selfish self too. What would that be? What makes a good interviewer?
I guess being really interested, being curious. Yeah, being interested, and being okay with going off script a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, usually we know what people don't want to talk about. And I'm not saying going there, but kind of going, maybe it's okay to make a left turn at Albuquerque and go into another, something you're curious about. I find that fun, especially with an open format like you guys have, where you have time to talk. And on our show, it's pretty, 2 to 3 minute segments. So you're pretty limited to how deep you can go.
And so when you only have 2 to 3 minute segments, and what if someone says something that shouldn't be on there? Does that happen?
It does happen. Yeah.
And
Sometimes
you have to write it.
they got to write it, and they, it's way out of my depth of what people are doing with the commercial time and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
they're telling me to wrap it up, and in my head, I'm like, all right, we got to wrap this up. And they're going, and there's a bit of leeway. Sometimes it makes the later segments a little shorter.
Do you see the guests before they go on in their room?
Sometimes.
So it just depends.
Yeah, it depends. In the old studio, it was much easier to see the guests because our dressing rooms were across the hall from them. Now they're in a different section. They're all over. We're in the new Disney building downtown. They're in a green
That's
rooms.
a nice building.
It's beautiful.
That's a nice.
It's a really, and they're down the hall. If I have a friend coming that I know, I'll find them and I'll go say hi to them. And
And do you rip out of there right when you're done, or do you have to do like a protocol before you leave?
When I'm done, I usually rip out of there. And
That's so nice. What a dream job.
yeah, it is.
It's funny though, as
that's
you were
cool.
talking, whenever I've been on news type programs, I find it challenging because with this, you can kind of slow and stop and go, and we can go in all bunch of different directions.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. And I find myself talking really fast on those.
You have to get to the points.
Yeah, and you can like hear somebody in your ear saying like, wrap it up, buddy.
Yeah, we don't have any of that. Thank God we don't have any of those things in our ears. But we have people going,
Oh, that would drive me nuts.
Yeah.
And is the audience, are you feeding off the audience's
Yeah.
energy?
yes. Again, during COVID, we didn't have an audience when
That's hard.
I would fill in. And it was cool. It was fine. You get used to it. With an audience, it's great. We found that for some reason on Tuesdays, the audiences are more reserved. It's a Tuesday audience. I don't know why. It's Tuesdays. Maybe people in general are a little more reserved on Tuesdays. So you don't take it personal if it's a little quieter. You just know that it's a Tuesday audience.
Who have been some of your favorite people that you've interviewed?
Carol Burnett
That's cool.
was absolutely amazing. Kate Blanchett. amazing. I'm such a big fan of hers.
That's a good one.
Gosh, again, if I could remember everybody who's been on, I told you I have a little bit of amnesia.
That makes sense, though. That's exactly what happens to us, I feel like.
Yeah.
Well, I just think when you talk for a living, you talk to a lot of people for a living. It's not that you, again, like if you see some on the street, you'd be like, oh, I remember. But it's just like trying to recall it off the top of your head is challenging.
Yeah.
We have rapid fire questions for you.
Let's do it.
Okay, I think you should start at the third one.
No, you can ask that one. Best piece of advice you've ever received?
Never take advice from someone who's more screwed up than you.
That's a great piece of advice.
What's your favorite thing about working with your wife?
That I'm in the presence of greatness.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you say that about me?
Yes, I say it to everyone all day long,
Okay.
but only when you're not around.
It's good tips.
I want to get your head too big. Biggest risk you've ever taken?
Today?
Sure.
Oh gosh, I think I roll the dice a lot. Biggest risk. I would guess, sometimes it might be like a piece of real estate. It's like, this is going to work. I wouldn't say getting married was the easiest, best bet I ever made. I would say, probably just maybe financial stuff.
What's the most underrated restaurant in New York City?
Most underrated restaurant in New York City.
Like, where are you and Mark and Keith and Kelly going? Like, where's the place?
Underrated.
Secret spot.
I would say my dining room table in my house.
Tell us about Sunday Night Chinese.
Sunday Night Chinese. First of all, and it's a tradition here in New York City that Chinese food is a big deal.
Okay.
We not so often, not often enough, but we'll get together with some great friends and we'll catch up. And they're the type of friends that it doesn't matter if you've seen them once in 6 months or once, or twice that weekend, you can pick up and plug in right where you left off. I love those kind of friends because they're all very busy. So yeah.
Are you like that to everybody? I think I feel the same way about him.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good one. Last and final question. I think I know what you're going to say. What's your favorite guilty pleasure?
A cigar.
Knew it. What kind? Michael's a big cigar guy.
Are you?
Yeah.
I don't want to say big, but I love a good cigar. And as I've gotten older,
What's
I've gotten
the cigar?
more into just less alcohol, more cigars.
Yeah.
Which one should he try?
I think they're much better for you, actually. And people don't like when I say that.
Yeah. I would say that my favorite right now is a Romeo and Julieta, short Churchill.
Short Churchill.
Short Churchill.
So like okay.
It's a nice gauge. Yeah. It's a kind of a Robusto size.
So
It's
like
nice.
30 or 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Whenever I've had one too many, I take a couple puffs of that, but I forget that you can't swallow it.
Or you mean inhale?
Inhale.
Pull that clip. Taylor, pull that clip.
And then every single morning I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, why do I feel so bad? And it's because I took a couple swallows of your cigar.
Swallows.
Taylor, pull that clip, splice it up. Yeah. No, that I think is another reason people have a bad time with those is they don't realize you can't smoke it like a cigarette.
I think that one's more of like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour cigarette. Cigar.
Okay. So
And what is your favorite one right now?
I don't know. I don't have a favorite one. A buddy of mine gave me these Monte Cristos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! Which ones were they?
And Mundos?
I don't remember.
You got to know your cigars before this interview.
I'm like I said, I'm new to it.
This is unprepared.
I did get a nice.
You should have seen a cigar room.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a cigar room yet because you're worried about your hair room or whatever it's going to be.
You have to have good ventilation in the cigar room.
Yeah, I've been gifted some. What are the ones that you got me from Vic?
I have no idea. I just said
These are Arturo
cigars.
Fuentes, rare pinks.
Amazing.
Yeah, those ones are really good.
Those are great.
Rare pinks, that's cute.
But I'm new to it, right? So I don't have like my go-to. But
do you watch a game while you're smoking it, or do you with your buddies?
Either with buddies or
I'll
read
a book
outside and I'll be by myself. It's very meditative for me.
I agree.
And it's done sometimes. A lot of times I like it almost when I'm not being social, just to kind of sit and think.
My daughter, who lives in London, called me the other day and she said, "Dad, I was walking on the street and a gentleman was smoking a cigar and it made me think of you."
Oh.
And she loves the smell of a cigar.
Yeah. No, I think it's like a very especially now, is like limiting a little bit of alcohol, especially alcohol. I've had some good times with alcohol, but as you get older, it's rough, especially with those young kids getting up in the morning. So, you know, I can have a cigar and feel fine the next day. If I have two drinks or even smell any, I'm done for a week.
Yeah.
You know?
Where can everyone find you?
Where can they find me? 9 a.m. on, check your local listings, and either we're on multiple networks, and 9 a.m. in New York on ABC.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on. What an honor to interview you,
Thank
the
you.
interviewer of the world.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
I really hope you get your hair sync,
I will.
and I really hope you get your cigar room
I will.
or cigar garage.
Where? I don't know where you're going to put that.
Well, now we'll have to make some compromises. Thank you, Mark. You're the
Thank
man.
you, Mark.
Thank you, guys.